Hello Josh, and welcome to this demo. As a follow-up to our short meeting this afternoon, I'm preparing this YouTube video for you to see what Centrify provides in the context of privileged account management. And based on what what you wanted, you're looking for privileged account and access management for servers and network gear. It would be nice to know what is the makeup of those servers, but also at the same time, you said that you have up to 200 Macs and you would like to have better handle on those. So Centrify basically focuses on allowing organizations to use Active Directory to help their problems. So, ideally, organizations can leverage their disparate organizations' infrastructure and consolidate everything with Active Directory. So most of the time you will need Active Directory to use our solutions, okay? In terms of challenges, if you're running Windows, most likely you want to eliminate people knowing the administrator password. The same for Unix. You don't want people knowing the root password. You also want to be able to rotate those passwords as well. You want to eliminate on Windows the -A accounts. You want to have a robust privilege elevation. You may also want to protect your social media accounts or access to consoles that give access to SaaS applications. And finally, on the Mac, if you can bring everything to a single management framework, it will be nice as well. So going straight to the demo here. So with Centrify, basically we allow users to use their own AD account to access systems. So in here, just to give you a quick demo, I'm uh, I'm launching Putty as Lisa Simpson here, and what's going to happen is I'm gonna I'm gonna be able to get either SSO or manual log into a system, but it's all using my Active Directory account. So it's the same credential. And what is the benefit to you that if you were to disable Lisa at some point and say, you know what, Lisa doesn't work in the organization anymore, all you need to do is disable the account. And if the user wanted to, for example, log in, they don't have the chance to do that, right? Another capability that you want to provide, and let's go ahead and re-enable Lisa, is the ability to enforce policy, right? You know that with Active Directory you have group policy to enforce those policies. So if Lisa were to, wanted to change her password, in this case, I'm going to make it 12345 to make it very simple. What's going to happen is that she won't be able to change the password because it doesn't meet the requirements in AD, right? So you're reusing AD for extending that to Unix, Linux, as well as Mac. So if I looked at the experience of Lisa on a Mac, it would be very simple. It would be the same type of experience. So Lisa will log in with her AD account, right? And at this point, we will give her the same type of feedback. So notice in here on the Unix side, we said, hey, your password is going to expire in 57 days. Same thing here on the Mac side, right? On the Macs, we provide a lot of GPOs, and those are group policies. And those group policies allow you to do certain things. Like, for example, sometimes you have to keep a local account that is an admin account to be able to manage those Macs. With Centrify, you can actually consolidate that into an AD group. What I mean by that is you can grant admin access to Macs based on the AD group membership of the user. What that allows you to do is to eliminate that poor practice of sharing that account across those Macs. So notice in here, I have I have a computer policy. There's a lot of them, and there's user policies as well. I have a computer policy that says, you're going to have admin access if you belong to the Mac admins group. Guess who belongs to the Mac admin group? Lisa Simpson. So, she's a member of that group. What that means is that on the Mac, if she needs to open a system preference, right, that needs for example, to open the padlock, all she needs to do is click on the padlock, and at this point she's going to be challenged with her password, and notice that the padlock is going to be able to be opened. There's more than 500 GPOs for you to control a lot of things. I'm not going to go in deep into this. You're a busy person, so I wanted to make this demo very short. The next thing that we can do is to protect your systems, right? So we have this least access and least privilege capability, and that allows users to elevate using, for example, in Windows, if they need to run an application with privilege, all they need to do is right-click on it, run as role, right? And they will have the ability to run that application with privilege, and we can tie auditing to it as well. So that application is going to launch with privilege access, and the user does not have to be a local administrator to do that. Same thing on Unix, right? On Unix, a user may have the need to run certain things as root, or maybe they need to manage Oracle, and they need to do certain things. So we provide a DZ-do. So DZ-do is privilege elevation is based on sudo. So DZ-do, you can actually, if the user is allowed to do that. So let's see what this user is allowed to do. DZ-do minus L is going to show me what that is. And what you'll see is that the user is allowed to do certain things that only an Oracle administrator is allowed to do. So if she needs to stop and start the Oracle service, very simple, DZ-do service Oracle XC restart. And this user does not need to know the Oracle password, does not need to know the root password, and they'll be able to do what they're supposed to do, right? So that comprises the first approach, right? So the first approach is to use what is called least access and least privilege. So what we recommend typically organizations is to use least access 80% of the time, right? So the rest of the time they can use a solution for password management and session management, right? We also have a solution for that. The solution is called CPS, and it's front-ended, using our identity service. The most important thing about the identity service first is that it does provide two-factor authentication. So here I'm going to switch to my regular desktop here. I have an application called Concur, and I'm going to put in my phone in here so you can see. Let me go ahead and unlock it. Um, so what you'll see is, in terms of multi-factor, a lot of organizations use one-time tokens. For us, multi-factor also has geolocation. So if I wanted to access this application, for example, Concur, what's going to happen is that it's going to ask me for multi-factor, but we can deliver multi-factor several ways. We can do the mobile authenticator on the app that the user registers from their phone, an email link, an SMS, security question, and phone call. Any of those factors can be disabled if needed. I'm going to use the mobile authenticator, and the mobile authenticator is within the Centrify app. It does provide the ability to do one-time tokens. Okay, but let's take a look at what happens when I do request that access from that app. And notice what's going to happen here on my phone. It's saying, hey, is this you from this IP address from Yonkers, New York, right? So I get the ability to see not only, the request IP address, but where it comes from. And I can basically just say approve. When I click approve, the code is going to be submitted automatically for me, and I'm going to get access to the application. So what that means is that this portal right here that I've customized for the Yeshiva, it can be controlled, accessed via multi-factor. Okay. Here in the privilege service provides basically several key capabilities. The first one is session brokering. And what that means is that you can have those resources, and I know that you mentioned that you have network devices. So notice that we support Cisco devices, Juniper devices, Windows servers, Unix servers. And the idea is that if you need access to a system, you can get a either a manual login or an assisted login. So I can have, for example, I'm managing the root account here. I can get a login to that session, right, in Engineering 8. And notice that I'm going to be allowed to log in as root, and I don't need to know the password, right? Another key capability is the ability to do proctoring, right? So you may have perhaps a consultant that is helping you out, but you could do this watch, and this allows you to do real-time monitoring of what the user is doing. So I'm going to put the login session here. What's going to happen is that everything I type in here is going to be proctored in this second window here. So you have the ability to see that over, what's happening over here. If you don't like what you're seeing, very simple. You could simply just go and do a termination of the session, and you'll have the ability to terminate that session. So if I go back here, it's been closed by the administrator. This type of capability is also available on Windows. Notice in here, and I'm going to do a manual login. So I can do a login to my member 3 machine. In this case, I'm going to do it with my own account. So I need to provide credentials. And I'll basically provide my password, right, and I'll be able to log in to my Windows machine. So regardless of where the user is, they will get access to that system, and you can have it from internal or from the outside world. If you are inside of premises, access to the portal is very simple. It's basically SSO. It will authenticate you against Active Directory, and you will have the ability to log in without having to type in your password. Okay, that's really important because it allows more productivity from your users. I'm gonna go ahead and log off. The other capabilities are kind of like the commoditized capabilities, right? The password management capability. In here, I'm managing a lot of passwords from different accounts. We allow you to either do an account checkout. It could be a clipboard checkout now. So I have it in the clipboard, right? And if I need to use it somewhere else, I can just paste it here, right? So another way that I can do it is having and I'm gonna go ahead and check it in. I can have the password checked out by displaying the password, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and display it, right? What's gonna happen at that point is that I have the new password, which actually was rotated. Notice this was the old password before. Now this is the new password, right? So I can go to the resources page or my workspace. Notice that I have a password checked out here. I can extend the time or I can check it in again. But remember, we're mobile first, right, at Centrify. So we also provide the ability for users that are registered with the service to see the resources that they have available. And if, let's just say, if I need the password because my machine broke, rather than me going to my desk and getting this, I can always just click in here, do a checkout, and notice that it's going to ask me for my Touch ID, and I'll be able to check out that password from there. Okay, so really, really important. Mobility is really important in a modern solution. And notice that I have the ability to see not only all the resources that I have, but from where my checkouts are coming from. As you can see, I live in Yonkers, New York, so most of my checkouts are coming from there. From a reporting perspective, we have the ability to generate reports in terms of what's going on with the service. And this rides on our award-winning identity as a service platform. So if you're also planning to go to Office 365, use applications like Salesforce or Google Apps, you can also use that platform for those purposes. But that's a different briefing right there. So I'm hoping that this helped you. We can help you two ways. We can protect your systems by having an agent on the system that will allow only the right people to log in. But we can also do the shared account password and the session management. So if you need this jump box access, you can do it as well. I'm hoping that this helped you, and myself and Waleed will be hoping to hear from you. Okay, take it easy.